start have a trees of lucky?
Hello, my name is Teresa Lucky. I live at 313 South Pagoda Street. I have some, the money you spent on Close the Gap Day, the banner day, you spent $123,000 for the banners. I have potholes in my alley. I've had them for years. You spend the money and also you spent $22,000. We don't have the report yet how much you spent today at Close the Gap. That's quite a bit of money when you could build bike paths in our city, more parks, and maybe you can have a couple of buses that will shuttle us to the goal line for its residents in Alhambra. And we can maybe complain about the school on Fremont. Maybe you could put cleaners there. Maybe you could fix a microfilm machine at the local library. Maybe have free use of the community room in the library, and we have to pay $200. So there's quite a bit of money spent on what you want. There's not an information on the people all have there about the 710 freeway. It's just all negative about us. So I think maybe you should put out information on the residents here. And why don't you fix, you're my councilman, why don't you fix my alley?
I just want to make sure.
There for years.
Right. I just want to make sure what address. So, like, did you call into the Public Works Department?
Well, somebody goes there and they check. They walk on the. The red. We have to call up if we have potholes.
If you see it, because there's no way for the city staff driving every single street. If you see something that is not potholes, whatever, report to the city. We'll take care of it right away. So we fix tons of potholes, thousands of potholes each year.
Because I know they come and they have graffiti.
Right, that's why people call.
There's
a graffiti hotline.
But the potholes have been there for years.
Okay, if you can leave the address there, we can have somebody take a look tomorrow and take care of it. You have to call, just like graffiti, we have a hotline, so you call, we try to have it done within 24 hours.
And I think you should look into having buses going to the goal line for residents here in Alhambra. That would save us a lot of, we can take the goal line downtown or to Pasadena.
Okay.
Instead of spending all this money on your Close the Gap Day.
Thank you. Next one is Gloria Valladolid.
Gloria Valladolid, 1300 South Raymond. I too was at your gridlock day that you like to call Close the Gap. I was with a group of Alhambrans near Coles, and I saw people waiting for the bus. The bus did not stop for them. I also saw people on bicycles who thought they could not get through the closed street. It seems to me that your planners should have anticipated these people's needs and arranged to inform them where they could get the bus and to let the bicycle people know that they could still walk their bicycle through the street. So I think you inconvenienced people who probably could have missed important appointments. I also went to the fire station near my house on Norwood, near Fremont, because I wanted to know what special plans they might be following because of the street closure. I rang the doorbell. I waited and waited and waited. There was a sign that said it was a safe house, and it looked to me like they meant young mothers could bring their unwanted children there instead of abandoning them. What if some of these young ladies could have come during this moment and not received an answer? Would they have been left and put dear sweet little baby in a plastic bag and stuck him in the sewer? I really think you need to rethink this and not close our streets. And I too have the famous prop from your gridlock day. And I say, how do you spell relief? N-E-W. We need a new city council.
Thank you. The next one is Melissa. I don't have the last name here.
Hello. Before I read the speech, which was originally a letter sent to each of you and all the local city councils in the area, I want to say that I, right now, am outraged by Councilmember Placido's backhanded compliment about a former speaker that showed you were amused by the fact that a retiree continues to address you month after month here. The shameful way Councilman Placido has addressed this resident for making statements that he didn't like or agree with reminds me of a time I met him personally at the Caltrans Metro presentation of 5 alternatives for the 710 freeway. I went up to talk to him and introduce myself, since I'd never met him before. I live in Emery Park, by the way. He saw a no 710 sign I was holding and commented on how faded it was. He said, "Why don't you get one of our signs," referring to Close the Gap. I proceeded to tell him what I'm about to say tonight, at which point he cut me off, said, "Good for you." I didn't know what he was talking about. He repeated himself, "Good for you," and said, "We're going to build a tunnel." And he walked away. Thank you, Councilman Placido, for reminding me of such a lack of decorum. First of all, I want to say I'm a resident, voter, and homeowner in Emery Park. It is disappointing to many voters and residents of Alhambra to know that our city is one of the very few around that still supports the 710 extension. Glendale, South Pasadena, La Cañada, Flint Ridge, Pasadena, and Sierra Madre are all in support of finding other solutions. There are numerous city council, numerous other groups opposed to the 710 freeway tunnel as well, and they are on various websites. I'm sure you can research if you are so inclined. We too are opposed to the 710 freeway tunnel extension because it will result in poor air quality in our area. According to Metro's alternative analysis, there would be 3 major pollutants in the tunnel, and that would be expelled into Alhambra, our city, from the south. The health effects for residents and children will be irreversible. The fine particulate matter in diesel exhaust, which comes from trucks specifically, would bypass our body's ability to fight these into our lungs. And then you get ready for the asthma to attack. California has identified diesel PM particulate matter as a toxic air contaminant that estimates 70% of the cancer risk from the air we breathe is attributable to diesel PM. Air filtering technology in the tunnel, if it's there, will only partially address the problem, but won't address the problem of the fine particulate matter, which is found in the diesel exhaust. Another reason why we are opposed to the 710 is because it actually will increase traffic on the 710 by 180,000 more vehicles per day, according to Caltrans Metro. We don't make this up, which is a 5-fold increase. Furthermore, it will increase truck traffic going north from the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles. More trucks and diesel exhaust means worse air quality, especially around the tunnel portals. Another reason we are opposed to the tunnel is increased traffic on our surface streets. Caltrans Metro reports there will be 60,000 additional cars per day on our surface streets due to people avoiding toll payments. Tolls which our city does not care to inform the inhabitants of. Caltrans Metro estimates $6 to $15 a car per car one way. The traffic will be exacerbated by all the mega construction projects that are being planned on Fremont, just north of Mission. Another problem we have with this tunnel project is there will be no on and off ramps for local drivers to benefit from. What's the point of having this in our city? Another very big concern is the lower property values in Alhambra. Who will want to buy a home subject to 24/7 construction of dirt, trucks, noise, vibration over the next 10 years? I for sure will sell my house and get out. For the city to promote the closure of the gap and endorse a freeway tunnel, even before the final environmental impact report is adopted, is short-sighted and irresponsible. Instead of harking back to the 1950s as a solution, Alhambra must consider modern-day alternatives. One thing I don't understand is why the Chamber of Commerce believes a tunnel with the sole entrance exit closest to our city, which is actually in Monterey Park, on the other side of the 10, how that's going to bring consumers to our town. People from the San Gabriel Valley will continue using side streets to come to Alhambra, so what is the point of taking 10 years and billions of dollars for a tunnel under our town? How about if you focus on having Caltrans update the freeway signs, the north and southbound signs on the 710 to say instead out of Pasadena, which it says Pasadena, but that's almost false advertising, it should say Alhambra. In any case, we want our city to adopt policies and embrace practices that will improve the environment and traffic, not make it worse or simply mitigate them. As described in an article published in the LA Times, there was a whole section on June 30th. Transportation trends favor public transit and walkable communities, which instead of a freeway tunnel would enhance our own community. So in short, we'd just like to invite you to look at our website, Alhambrans Against 710.com, to separate the facts from fiction and to help you really consider what your constituents want. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next I have Gisela Adam.
I have not been here for a long time because the high-speed rail has been very quiet, but lately it is popping up on the south end of the proposed route. And my question is, have you people, been active with it and kept up with everything? And because there was an interesting article in the LA Times saying that contrary to the Northern California cities and organizations, there is nothing going on in Southern California. No one is against the high-speed rail. And they're going to take the easiest way out, although it's against Prop 1A, because it has to be built between San Francisco and LA first. But it all depends what they're considering LA. If it's considering, through, because they're still showing all the proposed route is still going down the 10. And if Little South Pasadena can prevent a 710 for that many years, I would certainly hope that the cities along the 10 will get active and do something against the high-speed rail, which right now it's totally against what the voters voted.
Yes.
A few years ago. So my question is just, if you hear something, please inform, the people, especially the ones who would not just have to put up with 10 years, but 20 years of pollution that's created by a construction, plus the freeway pollution.
Sure.
Yes, I sit on the Regional Council for SCAG, Southern California Association of Government, and we are very much involved in the high-speed issue and are watching the routes that they are proposing. And Supervisor Mike Antonovich has put forth a preferred alternative that will be using the existing Metrolink tracks. So what they were originally proposing to go is not in the ballpark anymore. So be assured that all of the cities, not only in the San Gabriel Valley, but the whole Southern California region, sit on this board, and we are very much watching what happens with high-speed rail.
Thank you. Because even in the Central Valley, where there are not that many people, the construction was concrete,
Right.
is pollutants. I mean, they're spitting everywhere and killing bees and trees and what have you.
Yeah, no,
I've got a few others, but I think I'll kind of come back again. But I do have one personal issue, and that is the city street sweeper. I've been to the Public Works Department because the person raises down the street. I take pictures before and after, and the after cleaning still looks like it before. I have pictures that I took today after the street sweeper went by. The poor gentleman down the street, he was sweeping up all the stuff.
You
And,
want to share with us?
yes, because I used to.
All right. So give the city manager that.
And let's see, well, I know there's just one thing, and that's the water in the park. Is the water that we use to water the lawns and stuff in the park, is that recycled water?
It's not. Current is not. No.
It is
No,
not.
it's not drinking water.
No, it's regular water.
It's regular water.
Okay, but that's the water that we get that eventually gets into the drinking water?
Yeah.
Okay, because I walk very early in the morning in the park to avoid a lot of people. And I'm telling you, the sprinklers are shooting everywhere, out in the street, onto the walk, not into where they should be. And sometimes there are fountains
Which particular part?
on Mansell.
Okay.
Yeah. And to me, that's a real waste of water.
Right.
We're trying to,
Right.
you know,
Thank you
save
so
as
much for
as
letting
we
us
can.
know.
And, you know, because I was hoping that city would come up with maybe an incentive plan for people to take out the lawns and put, you know, driver assistant things in. That would be kind of nice, maybe for future.
Yes.
Think about that.
Thank you.
I will come back another time to discuss the traffic.
Okay. Thank you so
And
much.
people not adhering to the laws. There would be cars, pedestrians, runners, and bicycles. Thank you.
Thank you. Cars with James, is it Lusa? Is that correct?
Yes, close. I'll just be pretty good. I just want to piggyback a little bit on what Melissa said earlier about the 710, just a couple little points and I'll be out of here. I just want to kind of focus on more of the 710 as far as the on and off ramps, and I think maybe some things that we're missing. If you think of, like, obviously the recent development of Alhambra, trying to make it kind of a destination with, you know, Maine and Garfield, and a lot of communities, you know, all over the world. I mean, they've learned to use through traffic as a way of generating revenue, and so if we kind of create a doormat kind of a scenario where people are bypassing our city, you know, they're going straight from Alhambra all the way to Pasadena, they kind of miss out. Moreover, if you think of like the money that was spent on those signs on Fremont, maybe they could have been spent on, I don't know, signs promoting events or promoting restaurants or whatever in the areas where people that are passing by can further put money into the community. And then also, it seems to me, I may be wrong, but it seems to me that when you have a tunnel going through and there are no entrances and exits along the way, it seems it doesn't really serve people that between Alhambra. Let's say I live halfway between the route and there's really traffic. I don't want to crowd the Alhambra street, so I want to take the 710 tunnel, but I can't get out, so I have to go all the way to Pasadena and double back. Or I just endure traffic and make it worse for Alhambra. So that doesn't really serve those constituents that live in Alhambra or any of the adjacent communities. If you think of like, here's the analogy, like when you grocery stores strategically they'll place candy at the front so that when kids get to the front they can nag their parents to get some food. You know, that's kind of one of the things that we rely on in Alhambra is having that through traffic. You might maybe don't see it that way, but I really do. I think business owners might share that same sentiment that when you do have that through traffic, although it might appear that it's bad, and I live on Alhambra like some of you do, or all of you, and it's really not that bad. Only rush hour. If you go into any major metropolitan area or even suburban area, it's traffic during rush hour. During the day, let's say before 3:30 or 4 o'clock, it's really not that bad, even on some of the worst streets. I agree there are some ways that we can mitigate the traffic issues, but it just seems like the 710 is a really grandiose idea that's not going to solve all the problems. Matter of fact, it's going to make new problems, potentially some unforeseeable ones that we do not know yet. So that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then Michael Rosa.
Michael Rosa. I live in Highland Park. And I see this project and it scares me. It scares me because I'm expecting a grandchild pretty soon, and I live in Alhambra. And the idea that you might go to Fremont Elementary School is horrendous. I just saw a video of I believe it was the principal at Fremont Elementary saying to close the gap. I thought, you must be kidding. The amount of pollution from just digging the pit at the entrance to this tunnel, potentially, you can imagine the diesel exhaust that's going to cover that school. These kids, you should have actually taken that school and exchanged that location with the development that you're putting up along Fremont, which is going to also, I believe, increase the density of traffic. You should have just, you guys are powerful, you should have just said, we're going to move our school away from the freeway, into the middle of our community, instead of creating an even more dangerous scenario, quarter of a mile away. It's scary. We're counting on you to look at the longer view and do something instead of this tunnel. Now, if you make a tunnel, if you're for a tunnel, make a tunnel that runs from the ports, that will dedicate shipping of those containers, those thousands and thousands of containers from China, and take them up to the high desert, where the distribution can then be facilitated in a much less dense location. Less people, certainly less children. It makes no sense to build that tunnel that only the trucks will be attracted to. There's a route. I was working in Mexico near Otay Mesa, and those people, it takes them 2 hours to get to the United States every day. Talk about a hellacious commute. There's a toll road that runs from Otay Mesa into Chula Vista, which they thought, well, that's going to be great. The people are going to be coming right up through that toll road. It's virtually deserted. That's only a $4 one-way toll. You know what the people are doing? They're going south about 4 miles, and they're going north about 6 miles, and they're going back east another 4 miles to get to Chula Vista. Nobody's taken the toll road. So you see, the thought might be, oh, this might be a solution, but it isn't. It's the worst case scenario. I'm sorry to say that if you do this, that your legacy will be that people will go and unfortunately dig you up from your final resting place. And God knows what they'll do because it's such a horrendous thing. I know you want to, think you want to improve traffic along Fremont, but I guarantee you won't. There'll be more people going on that road because they will not take any toll road, let alone a tunnel. And think of it this way. You're going there with your grandchildren with Messina, and truck in front of you, oh, it's brake fly, it skids, crash, uh-oh, fire. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Are you going to take one child in each arm and start jogging backwards? Maybe it's only 2 miles back. It's a disaster waiting to happen. You just have to give it more thought. Now, I know that there are influential businesses. I understand that your business is business. You're trying to create something for the city, but it's misguided. It's misguided. And I believe the people that are probably putting pressure on you are the shipping companies and perhaps quite a few unions, maybe China. But it's trucks that are driving this. It's the truck and the trucking industry that are driving this. And all you're going to do is bring thousands of trucks into this area. Where's all that exhaust going to go? How are you going to clean that? Is there some plan to clean that? Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. All right, there's no more cards, and we'll move on to council communications. Barbara?
And I know you feel that you've gone on this website and that website and you've gotten this information and that information. Well, I'm here to tell you that there will not be pork trucks going up the 710. And that has consistently been demonstrated by workshops that SCAG has put on. The 710 has nothing to do with the pork trucks at the 60. They go east. That's what the Alameda corridor is. That means that trucks from any ports will go east to on the 60. Number two, I hear a 10-year construction time. The fallacy of that is, if you ever heard a presentation from one of the tunnel experts that build tunnels, they will tell you construction time is anywhere from 2 to 3 years. Construction, not taking in the environmental time. The cost, I'm hearing $12 billion. The cost estimate that Metro came up with after they did a cost analysis on all 5 of them was that the tunnel with a public-private partnership would be $5 billion. Okay, give or take maybe a little here or there. You talk about Fremont School. My daughter is a teacher at Fremont School. What Fremont School kids are now being subjected to with all those stop-go cars on Fremont is unconscionable. What you want is to get those cars off of Fremont and in a tunnel, okay? The tunnel will be from where Valley Boulevard ends now to Pasadena. The reason there are no on or off ramps is because that's what South Pasadena wanted. They did not want any on or off ramps through their city. So you can thank South Pasadena for that, okay? As far as all of these estimates, wait and see what the projected facts coming out of the EIR, EIS is. You're coming out with all of these comments. You have no idea what the facts are. So when you say separate facts from fiction, you need to take your own words. If you look on our website, there are more cities that support the completion of this than the cities that South Pasadena names. The cities, Glendale has absolutely no impact whatsoever of this tunnel. The city of La Cañada, the only reason why they're opposing it is because they want to keep their portion of the 210 freeway, their own private little freeway. Well, I'm sorry, folks, you know, you're no better than the rest of us. It's a freeway, and it's for all of us. So, I'm sorry, I just needed to share my part of what you're saying, so thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I have kids, as well as some of you do in Embry Park, and I'm stuck in traffic every single day on Fremont. And what I can tell you, having been involved with AQMD, having been involved with some of our regional boards, this is not just an Alhambra issue. It is a regional issue at its best. The way that it's been described in the past is in a way of when somebody's having heart surgery and getting a triple bypass or what have you, you've got to open up an artery in order to be able to relieve some of the congestion that is causing some of these strokes. You know, it may be funny to some of you, but the reality is that kids living near a freeway have some of the highest cancer rates and have some of the highest disease rates that anybody else in the nation does. So there's a straight correlation between cancer acquisition rates and living near a freeway. We are we're not only close to the freeway in Embry Park, we're close to another freeway being Fremont. That particular venue is stacked every day. I think 40 to 50,000 vehicles per day exit on 710 North. And, there definitely needs to be some relief. There was a mention of we needing modern day alternatives. Well, those modern day alternatives are not off the table. We're looking at those too. We had a presentation actually where I met Melissa, where we tried to get some residents out to learn more about the issue. And unfortunately, it wasn't that great of a turnout. But I can tell you that in my years on the council, I have talked to numerous residents in Emery Park. I've held house meetings, and my own personal poll is that the majority of Emery Park residents are actually in support of an extension of some sort of relief. It used to be the 710 freeway, now that's off the table, and now we're looking at the tunnel. So, and you can go out and query Emery Park. There used to be actually about 5-6 years ago, a whole group of over 50 people at least that supported the concept. But I'd be happy to talk to Melissa and other Emery Park residents to continue looking at our options, because the reality is this is where we live. And so we do need some relief in some form or another. But I can tell you that the issue of creating additional pollution is not even one that I consider, because the pollution is already there. The air quality is probably already some of the worst just due to the fact of where we live. And it's very unfortunate. And so we really need to come up with a solution. But, I think this is something that merits a community meeting and a meeting where we can all talk and discuss and continue to bring the folks that are the engineers that can answer some of the detailed questions about, what this means for not just Emery Park residents, but for residents in general in the county. One last comment, I was on the 210 freeway today, and was just thinking, wouldn't it be nice to be able to have access to these kinds of freeways all over the county? I mean, the 710 tunnel is just one. 710 tunnel is just one issue. There's numerous transportation issues where we can be connecting one freeway or another. The reality is, we live in LA County. It's one of the most populated counties in the nation, and we're expecting, I think, at least a 30% growth in the next 10 years in Southern California alone. So we really need to start thinking outside the box in terms of transportation solutions. And it's not just the 710 tunnel. We're looking at these modern day alternatives, among others. Thanks.